So is your house an asset or a liability? That is what we are looking to answer in this video today. Now you may be asking yourself why I'm sitting outside in the rain here, and it's because I wanted to take you guys to show you one of the most expensive houses for sale right now with a list price of just under $1.4 million. And the question I'm looking to answer today is whether or not this person who buys this house is buying an asset or a liability. So going by the strict definition, an asset is an economic resource or a resource with economic value, while a liability is simply a financial debt or obligation. So following that definition, things like my car and my house would technically be an asset because they are a resource that has economic value. Meanwhile, items like my credit card debt are going to be a liability because it is a financial obligation. But we're going to take this a step further and consider what Robert Kiyosaki says about assets versus liabilities, because he has a far different take on this. Now, Robert Kiyosaki's definition of assets versus liabilities, and he's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad in case you didn't know that, but his definition of this is very simple. He says an asset puts money in your pocket and a liability takes money out of your pocket. So if we follow the traditional definition of what an asset is, our house is an asset because it has economic value. But if we follow what Robert Kiyosaki says about assets versus liabilities, the house that we actually live in is not an asset, because when is the last time your house put money into your pocket? Or you went out to your car and you found a $100 bill on the driver's seat because your car was paying you? I'm going to take a wild guess and say this has never happened. It's certainly never happened to me. Maybe I'm driving the wrong kind of car, but I can say for a matter of fact, my house and my car have never paid me a dime. But it is possible for a house to become an asset for you following Robert Kiyosaki's definition. All it has to do is put money into your pocket each month. Now, how is that accomplished? That is accomplished by renting out a piece of real estate. So let's go ahead and break this down right now. First of all, if you are renting a house, then it is a liability. It is not putting any money in your pocket. If you own that house and you live in it, and you're following Robert Kiyosaki's definition, it's still a liability. But if you follow the traditional definition, it's technically an asset, as this is an economic resource. But if you are renting out a house and you're getting positive cash flow from that piece of real estate, then it's an asset in terms of what Robert Kiyosaki says, and it's still an asset based on that traditional definition. So first of all, let's consider the house that you actually live in and consider the cash inflow and outflow of that piece of real estate. So if you actually live in this house, you're not renting this house out to somebody else, and your cash inflow from this piece of real estate is $0. Now you do have to pay for things like your mortgage, like your homeowner's insurance, like your property taxes, and let's say that results in a cash outflow of $1,800 per month. Well, you have a negative cash flow of $1,800 a month from this piece of real estate, so by Robert Kiyosaki's definition, there's no way in hell this is considered to be an asset because it's taking $1,800 a month out of your pocket. Now, on the other hand, let's consider if that house that you're living in was actually a house you rented out, and you rented that same house out for $2,000 per month. So now the inflow on this property is $2,000 and the outflow is $1,800, meaning you have a positive cash flow of $200 a month from this piece of real estate. Now this house has become an asset. Okay, now here's where things are going to get a little bit confusing, because now that we're calling a house a liability, we have to draw the line between the difference between something like an automobile and then a piece of real estate. Because the thing about a car, or pretty much anything with wheels or an engine, it's going to depreciate in value. So the camper that you buy, the boat that you buy, the motorcycle, all of those items are going to go down in value with time, while real estate tends to go up in value. So the main difference here is that your house is likely going to appreciate in value if you bought it in a good area and you paid a fair price for it. And historically speaking, houses have appreciated on average 3.7% per year. So the good news is, despite the fact that by Robert Kiyosaki's definition, your house is a liability, it still is going to appreciate in value, most likely as you hold on to it. Now, on the other hand, if you buy a brand new car, you are never going to get out of it what you paid for it, no matter what, unless you're buying a classic car for some reason, but it's not going to be a daily driver in that case. And the other thing a house is for people is it's a forced savings plan. And what I mean by that is most people are going to pay their mortgage because if they don't pay it for a set amount of time, they're going to get their house foreclosed and they're going to have nowhere to live. So most people are going to be paying their mortgages, and a certain amount of that mortgage is going towards principal. Now, in the early years, a lot goes towards interest, but eventually you're going to be paying down the principal and building up equity in your home. Now, down the road, if you choose to sell your house, you can recognize that equity and roll it into a new house, or you're just going to take the cash out of your house when you sell it and take the cash sale. Or the other thing you can do is down the road draw a home equity line of credit on the equity you've built in your home. And so that is why I see a house as a forced savings plan. And unfortunately, in most cases, that is the only way people are saving any money, is by building equity in their house. Now, is this a good way to save money? Absolutely not. Most of what you're paying is interest, and if you look at what you pay in interest on a mortgage over 30 years, which is the most common mortgage, it's going to make you sick. Anyways, guys, I hope this helped to answer the question of whether or not a house is an asset or a liability. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and leave me a comment down below with your thoughts about this video. And do you agree with Robert Kiyosaki's definition of assets versus liabilities, or do you follow the more standard definition of assets simply being an economic resource? And if this is your first time seeing my face, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, and I will see you in the next video. If you are interested in learning more about investing in the stock market, I've created a free course just for you. The link is in the description below. Here are a few other videos you might enjoy as well.